Good morning, students. Today we will move on to a new lesson, that is Gulliver's Travel. When a person tells a story of his life in his own words, it is called autobiography. If a person is telling his own story, then it is called autobiography. Gulliver, a sailor, was once caught in the land of giants. So this person was once caught in a land of giants. Giants mean people who are very big, tall, and what? Very fat. This is how he describes his experience. So Gulliver is describing his experience. On the 16th of June 1730, we discovered land. So we were traveling in a ship and we are discovering land. Our captain sent a dozen men with vessels for water. So we are not having water. So captain has sent many people to search for water, if any could be found. When we came to land, we saw no river, spring, or any inhabitants. So in that land, there were no rivers, springs, or any other inhabitant, any other people. I went to explore. I went to explore means I went to find out what was in that land. The country was barren and rocky. So country was barren means there were no any trees or plantation, vegetation. I turned back to join the crew only to see them getting in the boat and rowing for life to get onto the ship. So when I turned back to go to the boat, I saw my friends were rowing the boat speedily and going to the ship. Before I could reach them, I observed a huge creature walking after them in the sea. Of the ocean reached only till his knees. So I saw a large creature walking towards me, and the water of the ocean was till his knees. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat, but the monster was unable to catch that boat in which my friends were there. I turned back quickly and climbed up a steep hill with fields of barley on either side and corn raising up 40 feet. So what I did was I just climbed a mountain, steep mountain, and with fields. In that mountain there were fields of barley and corn, and the corn was 40 feet height. There were a fence to pass from one field to another. So there was a fence to pass from one field to another. It was impossible for me to climb because every step was 6 feet height. So I was unable to climb that steps because it was 6 feet height. I was trying to find a gap in the hedge when I discovered one of the inhabitants of the next field walking towards the fence. He was of the same size as the creature chasing the boat. So I saw another person, another giant from the next field. He was coming towards me. I was struck with utmost fear and astonishment, ran to hide myself. So what I did is, I ran to hide myself. He called in a voice much louder than a trumpet. So he called in a much louder noise than trumpet. Trumpet is a thing that is blown during festivals. It sounded like thunder. 7 monsters like him came towards the field ready to reap the corn. So they came to cut the corn. They carried a reaping hook which was very big. When one of the reapers approached where I lay hidden, I screamed as loud as I could. So they were coming to reap and I was lying there. So I shouted. The creature stopped reaping, picking me up between his thumb and forefinger. So he picked me up with his thumb and forefinger and brought me close to his eyes, 60 feet above the ground. So this giant was 60 feet above the ground. He looked at me with curiosity and blew my hair aside to better. So he just caught me with his hand, with his thumb and forefinger, and he just blew at my face to remove my hair from my face. He called his friends and gently placed me on the ground. So he just placed me on the ground. They all sat on the ground to take a good look at me. I walked slowly backward and forward, pulled off my hat and made a low bow towards the farmers. So what I did is, I walked here and there and I just bowed to the farmers. I tried to speak to them loudly in several languages. So I wanted to speak to them. So I spoke to them in several languages. Each time I did so, the farmers who picked me up held his ear very close to me, but in vain. So they were keeping their ears close to me, but they were not able to listen to me because my sound was very low. The farmers took me to his house and placed me at some distance on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the floor. So the farmer took me to his house and placed me on the dining table. This dining table was 30 feet height. Dinner was brought for the farmer in a dish which was 10 feet in diameter. So dinner was brought which was 10 feet in diameter. It was in a big vessel. The dinner was brought for the farmer. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before me. Crumbled means just powdered some bread and placed some pieces in front of me. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before me. In the middle of the dinner, I heard a noise from behind. So, I heard a noise from behind during the dinner. It was a purring of a cat that was 10 times larger than an ox. So, it was a purring of, that is sound made by the cat, which was louder than that of an ox. The farmer's wife was stroking him. Farmer's wife was stroking that cat, gently touching that cat. Then entered the farmer's 1-year-old son in the arms of a lady. On seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. So what did the child do? Just grabbed me and put it in his mouth. I shouted so loudly that the baby dropped me. So I started shouting and the baby dropped me. I would have broken my neck if the mother had not held her apron under me. So what did the mother do? Mother held her apron under me. So I was saved. Otherwise I would have hurt my neck. Later she put me on her own bed and covered me with a clean white handkerchief. So this farmer's wife put him on the bed and covered with a clean handkerchief. I slept dreaming of my home, my wife and my children. So here Gulliver slept by dreaming about his mother, about his home, his wife and his children. This is adapted from Johann Swift's Gulliver's Travel. So hope you have understood the lesson. So please read the lesson. Meet you in the next class with the exercise of the workbook. Till then, goodbye. Take care.